think a lot of us grew in the era of watching all of these YouTube videos of huge makeup collections and incredibly intricate vanity tables, tons of beauty product hauls and latest releases, and it kind of made it feel like that was the goal, to have this huge makeup collection, a full drugstore of beauty products in your bathroom. But as I went through this decluttering journey, I realized actually having less makes my life so much easier. I can still enjoy makeup, which I do, but I do not need to have so many products in order to look and feel my best. So today I'm going to share with you 9 easy steps to declutter your makeup and how I decluttered my entire makeup collection to fit in just one makeup bag. The first step I would follow here if you are trying to declutter your own makeup is to check expiration dates. So that was one of the first things I did, was I went where I kept all of my makeup products, which was this bigger vanity table, and I had a drawer full of makeup when in reality I wasn't using that much of it. So the first thing I did was I went through and checked what was expired. If you look on the back of products, it will usually say 6 months, 12 months, sometimes even 3 months depending on the product. Like mascaras, you're supposed to change them more often, eyeshadows maybe 12 months. So really try to ask yourself if the products you are currently using on your face every single day are still good to use or they're expired, and get rid of anything that is expired. The second step I took that really helped me was to keep only one product in each category. And this is kind of a rough guideline, but for me it helped me realize, you know, what I was actually using and what I wasn't, and I was just keeping spares and spares that I never got around to using. I don't know why I used to think that having 3 mascaras at one time is a good idea when they expire quite quickly. You have to change them a lot, and so it's a bit wasteful to have that many in one go. Nowadays I only keep, you know, 1 mascara, 1 eyeshadow palette, 1 bronzer, 1 foundation, everything like that, just basically 1 of each. I think the only category that I do an exception for is lip products. I do think I have about 4 lip products there. I have lip balm and a few different lip colors, but those are my go-to. I actually wear them all the time. And while we're talking about categories, I tried to be more realistic with my categories, because I realized I don't have to have every single type of product that's available to me, because sometimes I might not actually use it. I realized during my declutter that actually I wasn't using my liquid eyeliner anymore. I wasn't using a blusher very much anymore, and so I got rid of those. I didn't replace them, and I don't really feel the need for it. I prefer using a bronzer these days and a bit of highlight, and that's just what has worked for me. For eyeliner, I use a bit of black eyeshadow on the lash line, and that's it. So I'm not saying you have to get rid of those. It's just about trying to be realistic with what categories of products you actually use yourself and which ones you enjoy using as well. The next thing I did was to try and stick with my tried and trues for the most part. Sometimes I might feel like experimenting, but for the most part I buy the products that I know work for me, the products I know I love, and it's just worked so much better, not only for my skin, my face, the level of confidence I feel in what I wear, but also to my budget, because if I buy products that I know I love, I'm not gonna waste that money, because I'm definitely gonna get my use out of those products. And testing a whole bunch of makeup products and skincare is not always the best for our skin. We can have reactions, we can, you know, just not enjoy the product in general, and we can end up wasting a lot of money on things we don't actually love. The future me problem. You know, when you have in your stash of makeup those products that you are not wearing at the moment, you're not using, but you think, oh, maybe in the future I'll want to wear this, or maybe one day I'll really want to wear a red lip. And I'm not saying you shouldn't keep some of that if that's what you prefer, if that's what makes you happy, but keeping a large stash of those products for future you is actually just going to clutter up your space, and it's not going to do you any service. So for me, I really try to be realistic with the colors that I actually wear, that I do enjoy having, and only keeping those. And also keep an eye on that back stash. I used to have a separate storage area where I kept all of these spares, right? Products that I wasn't using yet, I hadn't opened yet, but I thought I'll keep these because once I run through my, you know, my usual ones I wear, I'll go through these as well. But the problem with that was that I had such a big stash of them, I think it would have taken me such a long time to go through all of those, and a lot of them were also experimental products. I hadn't tested them before, and so I decided to simply pass those on. And when you have products that are not opened, you can actually sometimes sell them or donate them, and you know, somebody else can get use out of them. One thing I always try to remind myself is you are not a warehouse. I do not have to keep a huge stack of beauty products in my home, in my bathroom, cluttering up my space, because I can always go to the shop and find the product that I need when I run out of the current one I'm using. So maybe having a few spares here and there might work for you. I do have a couple of products like that are just waiting to be used, but I no longer keep a huge backstash of them because there's no point in it really. This next step made a big difference for me, and that was to take it out of my home ASAP. So whenever I did a declutter of my makeup, I made it a point to get those products out of my home as soon as I can, as soon as I'm available, to make that a priority, because if I don't, then things are just gonna linger in the wardrobes, in the closets, under the stairs, and it's not ideal to have piles and piles of things that you want to get rid of but you just don't get around to. Because if we do make it a point, if we do make it a priority, it's actually not that big of an effort to take things out of our home. There are loads of places you can take these. For makeup specifically, anything that was unopened, you know, obviously in perfect condition, never used, those I either sold on Vinted, some of them, or I donated them. And then anything that was already open, used, maybe expired, obviously you just have to throw that away. And there are makeup recycling points. Our local Tesco have this spot, and it's just like a big, you know, box where you can put things in, usually around their entrance. So there's one in Tesco, there's one in Superdrug, I know they have that, sometimes in Boots. So it's worth checking your local area where you might find those. But once you keep an eye out for these things, you can actually spot them and see, you know, oh, there's that makeup recycling, so next time I'm in town, I can bring all of my unloved makeup to recycle it here. And the last step I followed here is to shop more intentionally, because yes, it's great to declutter, get rid of stuff, but it's equally important to think about what we bring in, because you know, if we declutter but then go out and buy again, then it kind of defeats the purpose, and it's not great for the environment and it's not great for our budget either. So what I do nowadays is I do the one in one out method, which works so well for makeup and beauty products. When I run out of mascara, I go out and buy another mascara. It's as simple as that. So whenever I run out of a product, then I go and replace it. But I won't go out and buy something if I already have a product like that in my collection. There's no point in doing that. I'm probably not gonna use it. And having this mindset actually made me a better shopper, because I go into the shops, you know, I go in Boots and there's all these lovely products in there, and some of them catch your eye, you feel like giving into that impulse buy. But I always think, well, I already have that product, so no, I'm not gonna buy this at the moment. When I run out of that foundation, yes, I might come back to Boots and maybe buy this foundation instead. It's just been really helpful to control that impulse buying a bit better. I do hope this was helpful. Let me know how you're getting on with your makeup declutters, and I'll see you in my next video.